Sonic 06. It's a very controversial
No, it's not.
Sonic game.
It's not controversial. Everyone agrees.
It's pretty universal.
It's controversial in the fact that so many people have so many problems with it. I would say that.
Okay. I will accept that.
I'm not saying it's controversial like, there's a great divide. Like, I would definitely say more people dislike the game than like the game.
There's like a 99.999% of people who hate it, and then you're the 0.00001%.
Hey, I have actually found some YouTubers who also like it, and they present their case for liking
For
it
the
too.
views.
And they have just as many subscribers as we do.
So
Brutal.
who here has played it?
I have attempted to play it.
You played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But you two have played it all the way
Yeah.
through.
I've played it all the way through.
Matt
You've played it
has.
all the way
I
through.
definitely cannot.
I played it none. Wyatt's played it a little.
So let's start with you, Wyatt. Actually, what do you think of the game?
What do I think of the game?
Yes.
Okay, just
It's a loaded
based on what
question,
I
man.
play or what I know of the game from watching people play and
Uh,
all of my knowledge of the game,
let's keep it based on what you've actually played.
it was uncontrollable. Like, just annoying. The camera was garbage. It was extremely frustrating to play, which led to me quitting the game. Which, I've played a lot of Sonic games, and a lot of the earlier 3D ones are pretty bad when it comes to camera and controls and stuff like that, which I've gotten used to in those games. Like Sonic 06 was just so infuriating that I stopped. That's pretty much all I got as far as from what I played specifically.
Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with like the speed. Like he just walks around super fast, right?
Well, that's
Like
it.
every-
I mean, that's
he's
it.
He's a
He's a hedgehog.
But yeah,
they
but
walk
they
super
walk
fast.
super
That
fast.
makes it super hard to control.
He's
is what you were
Sonic the
saying.
Hedgehog.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
But the
man.
controls.
The controls are
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Matt.
Yeah, he's played the whole thing. He's got
So
something to say.
I didn't have a huge problem with the camera the majority of the time. There are definitely spots in the game where the camera gets annoying.
It'll get stuck on stuff, and it'll kind of do this like it'll go between two
dumb,
parts really fast.
But I mean, throughout the whole game, the camera isn't the problem that I have. But oh man, there was a lot wrong with that game. I'm not gonna talk about it all. Sorry, that made it look like I was getting ready to.
But you're supposed to.
gush.
You guys like,
I'm
please
waiting.
talk about it all.
I want to hear examples.
Okay, well, first off, the town. For me, I can't remember when that didn't come out in 06, did it?
Sonic 06 did come out in 06.
I'm almost
Okay.
positive.
Well,
The 360 version did. The PlayStation 3 version came out in 07.
okay, well, I think I played it when I was in middle school. So, the town that you kind of like go to all of your different like that you start out in.
Yeah.
That was confusing for me. There were definitely some spots in there that was just like I didn't understand what it was asking of me, just because it's not very clear and the NPCs don't really help you out very much.
You mean the people that do this? Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Also, the way that they're like animated
Yeah.
is bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
Also, kind of like what you said, like Sonic gets like he starts walking and then he gets really fast, and then like you want to turn somewhere, and then you end up running into a bunch of things, or you end up glitching through. Like I think whenever I tried to like walk across bridges, I would always like hit the corner of a bridge too fast, and I would just go through.
Clip through it,
yeah, I'd clip through, and I'd like fall in the water and I'd die. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
You shouldn't have done that.
The game shouldn't exist.
Oh boy.
And there's just so much.
What about the story?
And the
Come on, let's tell us about the story, man.
I don't know if we have the time.
Dude, we got nothing but time.
Maybe you do.
Okay, all right. Well, how about I go over some of the things that people complain about, and then you tell me whether or not you agree or disagree. Eggman's design.
He looks weird.
He looks too realistic.
Yeah, it's kinda
and
creepy.
Gross.
It's gross.
It's gross.
It's
how
gross.
it looks.
It's really gross. I'm saying this, and it just so happens that like it's kind of true. I think I watched the Game Grumps play it kind of recently, and they talked about Eggman, and he really does have kind of like a real fat man's crotch.
I saw
And
them
that-
say that just the other day.
It sounds weird. I was looking at it because I was like, does it? And I'm like, yeah, no, that's like a fat old dude. His crotch, his head is also weird, and
Oh my goodness.
it's
graphic.
weird. It's weird. I don't like realistic Eggman at all.
That's probably why they only kept that design for that one game.
Every other time. But yeah, it was.
But also, it was kind of, to me, it was like he wasn't realistic enough to fit in with the rest of the people. You know?
Yeah,
Like, because
No,
he has a big
it
goofy
definitely-
mustache and stuff.
definitely.
I don't know.
And
but-
is this picture with him without his sunglasses on real? Is that real?
I think
Someone
they
took off his glasses.
they took his glasses off, but he never has his glasses off
Oh,
in the game.
that's so creepy, man.
But Steven, what's your defense of Eggman?
I think he's just.
Oh,
I actually don't mind the design that much. I mean, I don't look at the crotch, so it's not a problem for me.
That's the problem.
Never noticed that before. I don't know. I'm just paying attention to other things. But I didn't mind the design. I think it could be tweaked a little bit to make it, not so creepy. It was a bit off-putting at first, but I thought it fit the overall tone of the game for what they were going for.
Bad.
Well,
I don't think it was bad.
It looked like it has potential. The design itself has potential. They just made it look really creepy.
So what other issues do you have?
With are we just
Story,
back to general?
characters, and anything you want to.
story.
Silver the Hedgehog. I don't have a problem with the character itself. I guess how they tie him in with the story, like it kind of makes sense. But the way that he plays, they do a really bad job of explaining how to use his abilities. Like I remember I had to just button mash everything just to figure out how to use his abilities at first, and it
And
still
he
took
uses
me.
his shoulder button mostly.
It still took me a long time to figure out how to do a lot of the stuff that he could do, and that was kind of annoying.
Yo, but he's cool.
Well, yeah, it was like I think his characters, like Sonic
And
has always
it's-
been like known for their like really good, unique character designs.
Yeah.
And
It's weird that he's been in like maybe 2 or 3 other games, not as a focus at all, and they just kind of dropped him off the
because
map.
he's not a bad character, and they've used Blaze before. Like Blaze has been in a few games.
Yeah, she
has
been
her
in
own
more.
game.
she does have her
games.
own game. What was it? Sonic Rush.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah,
DS?
you switch between her and
I
Sonic. yeah.
liked that. That was a fun DS game. But yeah, he just played really weird for me at first, and it took me a while to get used to him. I think they could have done a better job explaining his abilities. It could have just been because I was dumb, or because I don't know. I wasn't like amazing at video games when I was a child, so it could also have been that. But the snow stage, Sonic snow stage, when he's snowboarding, is awful.
Yes.
That is the
Just-
worst.
Snowboarding or on a board period in that game is does not work. It's broken.
Yeah, I think the Apocalypse metal boards. It was like they wanted to take the thing from Sonic. Was it Sonic Adventure 2? That
Yeah.
starts off
Yeah,
like,
that
it's like,
was
that
really
was
great.
The best opening to a Sonic game I think they've ever done. The song was great. Everything was great. It just it was going.
It was
fast.
really creative going downhill in like a San Francisco inspired.
Yeah, it was
City.
cool.
It did it right.
And
But
what?
then
I
they
mean,
were like,
he was riding on like a piece of a helicopter.
Piece of the
That
door of the
that was so
helicopter.
cool.
Yeah.
everything
As
they did
a
with
kid,
that,
that was like, this is amazing.
it was great. And then they were like, hey, remember that snowboarding part in that? Everyone seemed to like that. Let's try and make it good with this. And it's like, hey, let's take the idea, let's put it in, let's work on it. None. As it's just like the movement on them is weird. I think the city one has a bit better movement than the snowboarding one. The snowboarding one is weird. It's Like you go, sometimes you'll go faster
Like,
going
just-
uphill. Sometimes you'll go slower going downhill.
Just try to get down to the bottom of the hill as soon as
That's
you
a
can.
challenge. You should get an achievement just for being able to get to the next like checkpoint
Yeah.
in that level. But that's bad.
Well, I have my problems with it, believe it or not.
But what do you like about it?
Because you have to. I mean, like every game has like problems. So.
Well, let me go through my problems real quick. My main problems are the, like you said, yeah, some of the controls are just downright terrible. The game's way too glitchy. It's like they should have taken, and this was a problem actually for, I would say, a lot of the Sonic games after 06 as well. They just would spend maybe a year making them, and so you would get this glitchy game that has a lot of potential, but it's held back.
Even the few before that, like specifically talking about Sonic Adventure Battle 2, because I played that game a ton.
You can just say Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay, fine. Well, that was for the Dreamcast, wasn't it? Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure Battle 2 was for the game.
Yeah, and that's the only thing they really added were like the 2-player.
Yeah, is that the only thing added?
That's really
the controls in the game, like the camera in that game was pretty bad sometimes. The controls got a little wonky. It had its very fair share of glitches, and I feel like if they would just take a little bit more time and work those out, it'd be a much more playable game.
Yeah. Well, that's another game they like made in like 1 or 2 years after the first adventure.
And there's the Wii games. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is they stretched their development team too thin, making multiple games at the same time, and I think they're done with that, thankfully. I think my biggest complaint about Sonic 06 would have to be the load times. It would load. My favorite level is Crisis City. Just the music. I'll get to that later, but that level loads 4 times before you're done with the level. 4 times. There's a part of the game or like a game mechanic as Sonic where you are just running the whole time, like you're
from that tornado,
either from the tornado or on the beach when you're trying to catch up with Eggman. Those controls are bad because you jump, and when you jump, you're going so fast that you go a long ways. You cannot turn in midair at all, and if you hit something,
you're just dead.
You take damage, and if you lose rings, you cannot regain them because you're running. It's basically like a beta version of what they eventually pulled off in Sonic Unleashed and the other Sonic games. Okay, things I love about the game. Story's actually not bad at all. They bring up time travel. If you play the game overall and see all the cutscenes, you actually see like how things line up in the story and make sense in the story. There's a villain in it called Mephiles, who is kind of...
Is it Igneous?
Iblis.
Iblis.
Yeah, Iblis. And their whole connection is not necessarily clear at first, but as you play the game, it kind of has that whole Sonic Adventure thing where you play as one character and
see one thing.
Yeah, you'd see one thing from their perspective, and it wouldn't necessarily make sense until you played it from another character's perspective. So I love that they did that. I love that the fact that they even had a hub world. I don't understand why Sonic Adventure and 06 are like the only 2 games where we've had a hub world. It's not a bad idea at all for Sonic. One of the things I would love to do, especially in Adventure, was just zipping around. What's that forest area? It's like something ruins. Mystic Ruins.
Yeah,
the Mystic Ruins area. I loved because
the music in it too. It was like
the music was okay. I would like just kind of zipping up, like spin dashing up a ramp and seeing how much air you could get because the physics were actually designed for that. And like how you were talking with the city and how you would just start running and you wouldn't be able to control. Sonic can't swim, so why would you put him in a city with a bunch of water? Doesn't make any sense. But the story's actually good. The cutscenes are actually animated pretty decently, especially The CG cutscenes are done really well.
Yeah, I've seen a few Sonic games where the CG cutscenes. It feels like they spent all the money and time on those.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially like the opening sequence.
I love the opening sequence.
But then after that, it's like, oh gosh.
Well, even the in-game cutscenes for that time, even on the new hardware, they were still done pretty well. And the music, it's probably one of the best soundtracks of any Sonic game. Like, a lot of people like completely gloss over the music, but if you like listen to like the main theme instrumental version, it's awesome. It's really done well. So I think that we discussed this before. I do think the internet just loves to hate on the game, kind of like how, there's other things in our culture that just automatically you're hated on. Star Wars. Yeah. So the prequels,
and you're always in the minority.
Huh?
You're always in the minority.
And I'm okay with that. Like, the thing is like, the thing about games is like, not everyone has to like the same games, and you can have like, a game that like, see, I like Breath of the Wild, and I like Sonic 06. Like, I don't think like you have to like only games that get extremely high review scores. Like, I'm sure, Matt, you have a game that you like that everyone else hates.
Yeah, probably.
But you can't say that it's just a situation where everyone's just ganging up on it. There are very legitimate reasons that people have for hating Sonic.
Well, I mean, there was one magazine that actually gave it a 9 out of 10, believe it or not.
They no longer exist.
Well, most magazines no longer exist.
Yeah.
But... And
what was the name of it?
Play magazine?
9 out of 10. I just don't see how you get that.
Bribes.
I mean, everything he said about the game was in the game, in his review.
But
he just didn't mention... The only bad thing he mentioned was, the load times are a bit bad. But...
This guy hasn't played many video games.
If someone isn't telling about all the good and the bad, you just probably shouldn't read it, because they probably were paid to say those things.
Yeah, and I think they actually did print a retraction later. But I think that happened after, like,
thanks
everyone
for
else was trashing
until we got far into this topic.
But I think they only did it because everyone else was trashing it. Oh yeah, we hated the game.
They wanted to save face.
Yeah. That's kind of how it seemed to me.
We spent all the money, so now they can't take it back.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my definitive defense of the game. Like, there's a lot in the game that's actually done really well. They even had a kind of a cool idea. It was just executed badly about how you can buy and equip different shoes and have different abilities for Sonic. And I like the fact that you're not playing as 12 different characters like in Sonic Heroes. You're only playing as Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. And they simplified things. And occasionally you like switch off to Tails and Knuckles.
When you have a game that has a lot of potential, though, and it's been released and it's got a good story and it's got good characters and character design, but its fundamental gaming mechanics are detrimental to the overall quality of the game, that makes the game bad. It's like, because at its core, it's a Sonic. It's a Sonic game. It's a Sonic game with good story. But then if you take it all the way down, it's a game. It's a video game, and it has to have those certain qualities about the video game that make it playable.
Right. Well, it is playable. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get through the game if it wasn't playable. No.
But like, without it being frustrating and annoying in parts of the game.
But I mean, when you do watch things like Game Grumps and where Aaron freaks out because Knuckles is hanging on the wall,
and that I watched Sonic 06 with.
I know, but the fact of the matter is, like, if you watch Aaron's other parts on Game Grumps where he like has, out of like a 100% patience level, he has a 1% patience level for anything in games. And he just loses it over nothing.
To be
like,
fair,
of course he's going to
that
freak
whole
out.
Level.
Well, with Knuckles,
had not just Knuckles, but the whole like lava volcano level.
Mm-hmm.
There were a bunch of things that were messing up for them. Like, I think at one point they hit like the speed ramps and they were supposed to be going one way. He somehow managed, because of the camera, to like go up and then go all the way around, and then go back to the speed ramp. Like, the game made him do that.
Yeah, see, I never encountered that. I never encountered that, so I don't know how that even happened.
Well, there's also a lot of things that happened that like never happened to me. Like at one point, he was like riding on that eagle through like that weird like ancient temple ruins area, and he like he clipped through the eagle and fell in the new area, and it counted as a death. That never happened to me.
Yeah.
So like there's some things that happen in the game that like they don't happen a lot, but it's just the game being a glitch. It's like a Bethesda game. It's like not everyone's gonna run into the same glitches.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because if we're gonna, judge a game by how glitchy it is, there's plenty of other games that have like a higher glitch
most
to
Bethesda games that
non-glitch
come out are like
ratio.
they're glitchy. Some of them are still like New Vegas.
Yeah,
There's
they
a
never
lot of
fixed
It's never
New
gonna update
Vegas.
now.
No, but like even in Fallout 4, there's a lot of glitches that I ran into.
And even when the community is like, "Hey, these are problems. Can you fix it?" and they're like, "Oh, we're working on it. And then it's like 2 years go by, and
here's a DLC.
Or we moved on to a new game. Never mind, it's Bethesda. They don't do a new game that fast. But yeah. But I think we've exhausted the topic. I just wanted to talk it over with you guys. He recommended it, by the way. So if you guys didn't want to talk about it, it's his fault.
So it's determined Sonic 06 is a bad game.
Agreed.
Show of hands. Sonic 06 bad game. Yep. The jury has spoken.
I do think that your points are fairly valid. The music in that game was
I mean, ultimately, a lot of it comes down to opinions, because like he said he likes the story and you don't, so.
I said the story was weird and confusing.
Yeah, which means you don't like it very much.
Not necessarily.
Doesn't mean I didn't like it. It was just
I've seen I mean, some of the best...
I love Kingdom Hearts. Really confusing story.
Yeah, I was like, some of the best like anime I've seen or video RPGs I've played have really confusing, weird stories, but...
I actually just watched a video that explained like Kingdom Hearts.
That's what I mean. Like you're just kind of going thinking like,
yeah, but once the connection happens, then it's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like it's
But
that's not Sonic 06.
Yeah, Bacano.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a twist in the Sonic story.
Sonic's actually.
We can't spoil that here.
Yeah, we can't spoil it.
No.
What is it, like 11-year-old game?
I was like, do the math. Yeah. Do the math.
But that's okay. You're all just fired.